Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel, and today we're addressing yet another outrageous, exploitative and frankly embarrassing chapter in the never-ending saga of injustice surrounding R. Kelly. It seems that no matter how much the government has taken, no matter how much the courts have twisted and stretched the limits of legal reasoning, no matter how thoroughly the system has bent over backward to appease a media-fueled mob, there's always someone else standing in line, hand outstretched ready to profit off of the man's name. And this time it comes in the form of the $10.5 million judgment. A penalty so ridiculous, so illogical and so transparently opportunistic that it's almost hard to believe it came from a United States courtroom. Let's get into the details. A while back R. Kelly was ordered to fork over a staggering $10.5 million to a group of 6 women who unsurprisingly all featured in the infamous and biased docuseries Surviving R. Kelly. These women weren't victims of any actual physical event connected to this case. They weren't harmed in any way on the evening in question. No one laid a hand on them. No one physically threatened them face to face. Nothing really happened. In fact, the event they're so eagerly cashing in on was a mere alleged phone call said to have come from R. Kelly's former manager Donald Russell, a man who, frustrated with what he saw as a media circus designed to lynch his friend in the court of public opinion, allegedly made a phone call warning that there would be violence if the docuseries screening wasn't cancelled. The alleged threat was that someone was going to shoot up the place. No one actually did. The event was, however, evacuated as a precaution. Law enforcement was involved and ultimately no violence took place. But that wasn't enough for these so-called victims. They saw yet another opportunity to attach themselves to R. Kelly's name, to exploit their association with this man and to weaponize the media narrative in pursuit of a payday. And as usual, the court in its infinite lack of wisdom obliged them. These 6 women then had the audacity to claim that this alleged threat, though it caused them no physical harm, no direct confrontation and no actual event of violence, was enough to resurface their old personal traumas. Mind you, these alleged past traumas aren't even connected to this incident or even to the case against R. Kelly. They aren't even connected to the alleged phone call, the manager, or even the Surviving R. Kelly premiere itself. These are entirely unrelated personal traumas that these women claim were somehow reignited by hearing about an alleged threat that never materialized. And here's where the insult to common sense deepens. According to the lawsuit, these women have since been suffering from PTSD, not from any actual act of violence, not from any confirmed encounter, but from the mere idea that someone somewhere might have made a phone call threatening violence that never happened. And for this they were awarded a jaw-dropping $10.5 million. That's right, millions of dollars for so-called trauma that wasn't caused by R. Kelly, wasn't directly caused by his manager's alleged actions, and that wasn't connected to any physical event that may have occurred. Let's make something absolutely clear here: no credible justice system should ever compensate anyone for alleged psychological damage caused by an event that didn't physically harm them and wasn't even inflicted upon them. This is nothing more than opportunistic exploitation dressed up in the language of victimhood. It's a mockery of justice. And it highlights everything that's wrong with the American legal system today. A system that no longer seeks truth or fairness but instead caters to the loudest voices, the most media-friendly narratives, and the most marketable claims of trauma. It's worth noting that this entire situation traces back to the airing of Surviving R. Kelly, a so-called documentary series that was nothing more than a one-sided smear campaign. The series paraded a collection of people with dubious credibility, unverified claims and clear financial incentives to participate, painting R. Kelly as a monster without offering him any real opportunity to respond. It was a trial by television designed not to inform but to inflame. And yet here we are years later still dealing with the effects from this reckless media circus. The fact that a court could see fit to award millions of dollars to 6 individuals based solely on the idea that an alleged, unexecuted threat reminded them of past unrelated traumas is an insult to every person who has ever suffered real tangible harm in this country. What kind of precedent does this set? Are we now to believe that anyone can claim PTSD whenever a threatening comment is made on the news? Can every person who watches a violent movie scene sue the studio because it triggered a memory from their past? The very idea is absurd, and yet when R. Kelly's name is attached to it, suddenly every legal standard goes out the window, Even more shameful is the judge who rubber-stamped this ruling. In his so-called wisdom, he declared it necessary as a form of consolation to these women, awarding them millions not for any specific damages but essentially for their ability to claim they were upset by a situation that didn't physically involve them. That's not justice, and that's extortion via the legal system. And let's not pretend that this is an isolated incident. This is part of a broader pattern where anyone even remotely connected to R. Kelly, or events involving him, is granted open season to cash in on his name. Whether it's through lawsuits, media deals, or appearances in television docuseries, there's a never-ending line of opportunists waiting to profit off R. Kelly's downfall. And the courts, driven by public opinion and media pressure, are more than happy to play along. What's truly disgusting is the hypocrisy at play here. America loves to preach about due process, about fairness, about the presumption of innocence, and about protecting individuals from mob justice, yet in this case and far too many others like it, those principles have been discarded like yesterday's news. The system no longer cares whether a claim is credible, whether a victim is legitimate, or whether damages are justified. All that matters is who the claim is against and whether the public will cheer for the verdict. R. Kelly has already faced criminal trials. He's been subjected to government overreach, public vilification, and media persecution. He's been denied bail, isolated in prison, and targeted by prosecutors with questionable motives. And now, to add insult to injury, he's being ordered to pay millions of dollars to people who weren't even harmed in any way, but simply because they managed to attach themselves to a manufactured controversy. To those who continue to support this kind of legal abuse, shame on you. Shame on the system that allows it. And shame on the judge who presided over this disgrace of a ruling. Every dollar awarded in this case is a dollar stolen under the guise of justice, taken not from a guilty perpetrator of violence, but from a man whose name has been so thoroughly demonized that the normal rules no longer apply. This ruling isn't about protecting victims. It's about exploitation. It's about using the legal system as a tool for financial gain, preying on public prejudice and media narratives. It's about punishing a man not for what he's proven to have done, but for what people have been told to believe about him. And we, as a society, should be outraged by it. If we allow this kind of injustice to go unchecked, if we let courts become tools of opportunistic grifters and cowardly judges, then no one is safe. Today it's R. Kelly. Tomorrow it could be you. Because once you erode the foundations of fair and reasonable legal practice, once you turn the courts into a marketplace for manufactured trauma and opportunistic lawsuits, the entire concept of justice collapses. So to those 6 women who eagerly signed on to surviving R. Kelly, who capitalized on their television exposure, and who now shamelessly claim millions in damages for an alleged threat that never harmed them, congratulations. You've successfully played the system. You've proven that in America today justice is indeed a thing for the past. But don't for 1 second pretend this is about healing. Don't act like this is about closure, empowerment, or accountability. This is entirely about money, and history will remember it as such. And to the judge who greenlit this disgraceful ruling, you've shamed the bench you sit on. You've turned a courtroom into a circus, and you've betrayed the very principles you were sworn to uphold. This isn't justice. It's exploitation, and we will not be silent about it. That is all we had for you today on HN What's Your Say? To keep updated whenever we post a new video, subscribe to this channel now. Also remember to hit the bell icon and enable notifications. And feel free to share your opinions with us in the comment section below, and let us know if you would like us to publish your views in our next release. We value all our subscribers' opinions.